Yo, what's up, Garbage Time? It's Chooch back again with Mock Draft 2.0. As promised, we are, I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, 8:03. We're about exactly 24 hours away from the NFL Draft, Thursday at 8 p.m. It is Wednesday right now. And I've been holding off on posting this for a while. I said I was going to upload a bunch of mock drafts, and I think I planned on it at some point, but this entire draft process has been so like disheartening. I don't think anybody knows what's going on. The trends for prospects are changing like every single day, and I'll be honest, like coming into this mock draft, I feel more into the dark. I feel more in the dark regarding like um, confidence on where players are going to go and what teams are going to do than like ever. This is one of the worst drafts for me in terms of that. I would be thrilled just to get like 7 picks right in this first round. That would be an unbelievable success in my opinion. But I'm super excited to get into it. It's my favorite, probably my favorite weekend of the year. All things considered, I'm just huge in the draft. And I am very excited to see what these teams do. I'm very excited to see which of these prospects rise, which of them fall. And yeah, without further ado, I I guess we might as well just get into it, confidently or not confidently. Um, so let's go ahead and start somewhere confidently, where we could have the Raiders here, and Fernando Mendoza is the pick. I elaborated on Mendoza last time, so I'm not going to bore you with that again. Everyone knows he's going to be the first overall pick, and it is what it is. I think I'm a little bit lower on Mendoza than a lot of people are, but I still think he should be the first pick in this draft. I think he's the best quarterback prospect in this draft, and the Raiders obviously have a massive need for a young quarterback that they could build around. So I think Mendoza is and should be the pick at number one. Moving on to number two. Um, this is what seems to be a two horse race right now with Arvell Reese and David Bailey out of Texas Tech, and it's really just a thing. Do you buy into the steam of David Bailey, and do you buy that the dip with Arvell Reese, because it seemed like for a good stretch of months there Reese was more likely to go here, but everything that keeps coming along says, well, the Jets don't want a project. They want something that they feel safe about, which, I mean, I don't particularly feel safe about David Bailey, but I understand why they feel that way. Um, do I buy into the hype? At the end of the day, I am going to trust my gut and say no. I think this is going to be Arvell Reese simply because the safety aspect, I understand why um, people are saying that in terms of pass rushing, right? Because David Bailey is this established pass rusher. He definitely has that. There's no question about it. But his overall game, in terms of being a safe player, I'm not confident in Bailey as a three-down player, especially at this point in his career. Maybe he could develop into that down the line. But I think what Reese gives you as an off-ball linebacker immediately is a slam dunk, right? And maybe he doesn't become that pass rusher, that Micah Parsons role that some people are anticipating out of him. Um, but nonetheless, like I think Arvell Reese is going to give you some really quality reps, whether it be off the edge or on the ball. I like how he projects on the ball, but I think he has a floor off the ball where I feel more comfortable taking him than David Bailey at two. David Bailey needs to get a lot better against the run, right? And who knows if that speed rush is going to work all the time in the NFL against offensive tackles that are faster, bigger, stronger. I'm not so convinced, and I just feel like two is going to be Reese. I think there's a lot of Bailey smoke. We'll see what really comes to fruition, but me personally, I'm not buying the Bailey two smoke. But hey, we'll see. I understand why they would take David Bailey with the second overall pick if they do. Number three, the Cardinals. The most impossible pick, the most impossible third overall pick I've ever seen, I swear. A lot of steam for Jeremiah Love as of recent. Uh, I can't buy it. You know, that would be unbelievable. I think they're far away from being a running back away, and I don't support young rebuilding teams, teams that need a lot of help in the trenches and at other positions of need, spending early picks on running backs, especially number 3, and I love Jeremiah Love. He's one of my favorite players in this draft, but I really can't justify that. Francis Maui-Noah is a pick here for a lot of people, but I'm not fully bought in on him as the best offensive lineman in this draft. I'm not, and I understand why people feel that way as well. He's really big, strong offensive tackle, but I just think there's other offensive tackle prospects in this draft that are more exciting in the long term. I mean, I just think there's so many rare fluid athletes at tackle in this draft, and I'm a little bit worried about how light Maui Noah is on his feet. I'm a little bit worried if he's really a tackle. People are so sure that he's a right tackle, but guys like Fano get knocked, and there's a lot of questions about these other guys, but I have questions about Francis Maui-Noah myself, and he's not going to be the pick for me here. I think realistically this is a trade down spot for the Cardinals, all things considered. I don't know if they're going to find someone to trade up with them, though, in this draft. I mean, it's quite weird. It's quite a weird draft. I don't think there's a lot of top-end talent that you want to trade up for. Jeremiah Love and Caleb Downs, sure, but they're not positions of need. Same thing with Sonny Styles. And speaking of Sonny Styles, I think if I'm the Cardinals, I'm going with the best player available at and linebacker. You look at the numbers; they don't get paid a lot either. Maybe they're not deemed a position of need, anyways. But I think Styles is a rare athlete, and I think he could be a rare linebacker, like a Fred Warner type that is a focal point of a defense and a player that offenses need to plan for and fully plan their preparation around. And I just think Styles, the ceiling is so high, and it's a really rare opportunity to get this type of athlete. And overall, just the development that he's made year over year, I think his play recognition, his strength has gotten so much better. And he's this freak athlete, and I think he can command a defense, and I really think that there is high-end potential, that of a Fred Warner. And I think the Cardinals will buy into that, rather than reaching on somebody at one of these other positions of need, in my opinion. Titans at 4. Last time we did this mock draft, I was like, oh, I don't buy into the Jeremiah Love at 4. I think that's way too early for a team that needs a lot. And it's not a position of need. And now I'm talking about Jeremiah Love 3 to the Cardinals. I don't know if that gave you any insider info. But I personally... this draft is not what I would do. I want to make that very, very, very clear. It's what I think is going to happen. And that being said, I'm going to go with Jeremiah Love here to the Titans at 4. It seems to have all the steam right now. I think the Titans are just talking themselves into getting Cam Ward a running mate of Jeremiah Love, taking some of the pressure off him, establishing a monstrous run game. But I personally still have questions about the offensive line there. I think Cam needs more receiving help than he does help in the backfield. Nonetheless, I don't think the Titans value much what my opinion is, and I think all of the steam regarding him going 4 is really, really real. And I love Jeremiah Love. He's one of my favorite prospects in this draft. I think he's a good dude as well. So I'd be ecstatic for him to go number 4, although I really don't agree with the process much at all. The Giants on the clock at 5. This is where it could get interesting. Really interesting. Offensive tackle and offensive players in general are definitely possibilities here. I think that they're going to really want Styles. Didn't make it here in this draft, in this particular mock draft. But I also think they really want Caleb Downs. And you got the 10th overall pick from the Dexter Lawrence trade. Do you think that Caleb Downs will be there at 10? Given the circumstances with the Browns, the Commanders really, I think, will be interested in Caleb Downs. I think they're interested in a lot of different things, though. Who knows where they go, but could definitely be a Caleb Downs team. I think you feel pretty good about the Saints and Chiefs going elsewhere, but if you want to come back around to 10, I guarantee you that there will be an offensive tackle available for them to take that will immediately impact their offensive line play. And I do think one of the 3 main big 3 wide receivers in this draft will also be there at pick number 10. And for those reasons, I just think there's so much linkage to Caleb Downs with the Giants organization. I think it makes a ton of sense given John Harbaugh and has coached Kyle Hamilton, Ed Reed, and really values safeties in his system. I think the whole situational or positional value defensive argument is starting to come to a little bit of a tilt where I think people are valuing safety play and linebacker play a little bit more than they used to. Kind of like the same thing that's happening now with running backs on offense. And I think Caleb Downs will be the pick here at number 5 for the New York Giants. Number 6, Cleveland Browns are on the clock. Last time I did this, I believe I gave them Monroe Freeling, which is super early for me. Don't get me wrong. All the tackle talent is there. All the receiver talent is there. Last time I went tackle first because I felt confident that there would be a high-end receiver towards the bottom of the board. And they ended up with Omar Cooper, I believe, in that mock draft, who I absolutely love, and I think that would be a slam dunk hit. In this particular mock, no trades, and there still hasn't been an offensive tackle taken. I think there's offensive tackles down the board that have really popped up late in this draft cycle. I think that they do go receiver here. And I think it's going to be Carnell Tate. There's a ton of steam about Jordan Tyson now being projected to go in the top 10, which I do think comes to fruition. Mekhi Lemon seems like he might be slipping a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him go top 10 at all either. I have Tate as my 3rd wide receiver, but it just seems like the steam for him just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It doesn't seem like it has ever slowed down. It seems like everything that you see, everything that you hear now is that teams love Carnell Tate as the best receiver in this draft. So I'm gonna go Carnell Tate for the Cleveland Browns at pick number 6. And pick number 7, as we get the Washington Commanders up back on the clock, we will go. No, we won't. You got options here, right? Because you need defense, like everything on defense. But I think a pass rusher is what would really make you take a defender, given some offensive positional weapon needs as well. And it felt pretty good for you, right? You got Lemon on the board. You got Tyson on the board. Love and Tate are gone, but you still have 2 options that you definitely love. And David Bailey's on the board as well. And if David Bailey doesn't go with this pick, where's he going to go for me? And maybe that's not the right way to think, because maybe teams agree with me. But I don't know. This one's so hard. It's going to be David Bailey or Jordan Tyson for me here. This one is so hard. They signed pass rushers like Odafe Owe in the offseason, so maybe you make the argument that that's not as important right now as getting Jaden another weapon to get him back to his rookie season form. Oh, man, this is hard. Really hard. We are going to go with... We're going to go David Bailey. I'm not going to buy the Jordan Tyson skyrocketing up into the top 7 picks. I'm not going to buy it. We're going to play it safe. I think if Bailey gets there at 7, I just think it's really hard for the Commanders to back off of an edge rusher that they really want. It seems like they're really interested in David Bailey. I don't think they imagine that he gets there, and if he does, I think they're going to feel like they have to take advantage of it. So we'll go David Bailey for the Commanders at 7. And that leaves us with the Saints at 8. And this is a really interesting pick as well. I think if it was me, this is going to be Ruben Bain here, a player that I believe is the best player in this draft. But how could you not value that he's an outlier. There's never been a professional football player that has succeeded on the defensive line or off the edge with as short as arms as he has. And outliers exist for sure, but teams take that into account. And guys slip because of reasons like this all the time. To me, this is a slip, right? I think he's the best player in the draft. So I guess in my eyes, this is a slip, but I think that's a tougher sell for some other folks. And this is hard. They don't need Maui Noah. Although, hypothetically, they can kick him inside. I think Tyson or Lemon makes so much sense. I really do. I think we're going. I think we're going Jordan Tyson. No, we're going Ruben Bain. I think this is too much. Uh, the Saints will just eat up the value for a guy that's falling, and they could really use Ruben Bain. Anybody could use the prospect of this absolute beast pass rusher. You could use him on the interior. You could use him on the edge. I think he's the best player in the draft, and I think the Saints are going to take advantage. I don't. I like Jordan Tyson, the Saints, but I don't love the idea of pairing an injury-prone receiver with Chris Olave, and that's what's going to hold me off of that. And we get the Chiefs at 9. And last time we did this, I gave him Mansour Delane and felt fantastic about it, right? Um, this time around, I'm going to start buying the smoke here. I think this is Jordan Tyson at this point in time. Um, just raving about this guy. Everybody finally is. Everybody's finally seeing what I've, not to toot my own horn, what I've been saying. This guy's an alpha, in my opinion. I think he's one of the best receiver prospects that we've seen like over the last 10 years. Like I really think that highly of Jordan Tyson. The problem is he just needs to stay on the field. Um, and that will be the hard part, but I think the steam is real with him rising up people's boards because of his insane talent. And everyone knows the Chiefs want a weapon. They definitely need a DB. They definitely need a pass rusher, but weapon is just as important, especially when you get Mahomes back. We're tired of watching him play with these gadget receivers, and I think the Chiefs are too, and I think Jordan Tyson at 9 makes a ton of sense. Let's go with the Giants at 10, to which I will say Francis Mauigoa is very interesting. Spencer Fano is very interesting. Makai Lemon, really, really interesting. Vega Ioane, really interesting. This one's hard. I like the Downs pick. Really like the Downs pick for them. And what would be the haul that they want to walk away with? Rumors say they wanted Jordan Tyson. Well, that is a shame because he didn't make it there. I think Mauigoa makes a ton of sense as a kick inside guard player. Maybe takes care of life post a Humanor. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with Mauigoa. As the Dolphins come up number 11, this is either going to be Delane or Fano for me. I think this is where I had Delane going last time. I mean, whoever gets Delane past pick number 10 is getting a slam dunk, huh? But I could say the same about the guy that I'm going to have him taking. That's Spencer Fano. I think Fano is the best offensive lineman prospect in this draft. And the Dolphins need offensive line everywhere over that offensive line, right? They need tackles, they need guards. Maybe you start him at guard, where you feel like he'll be more successful at the output, but later on down the line, you kick him out to tackle. I still think Spencer Fano could play tackle. I think he's going to be phenomenal wherever anybody puts him, and I think the Dolphins are going to recognize that as well. Take him here at 11 and start to build that team from the inside out. Get somebody to protect the new quarterback, Malik Willis. As we get to the Cowboys at 12, I won't think about this one too much. I think they're running in the Delane card if he somehow was to drop to that point. I think they'd be ecstatic to have him. And, yeah, I can't see a world where his floor gets past the Cowboys at 12. Maybe they would consider Jermod McCoy. I should probably talk about this. Jermod McCoy, probably not a player I'm going to have going in this top 32. News broke that he allegedly needs another surgery on his knee that'll keep him out from football for another year. I don't think teams are going to like that very much. We see guys slide for reasons like this just before the draft all the time. Will Johnson had the same sort of thing. And I think it's going to be a really tough sell for McCoy to go in the top 25, given the new circumstances regarding his knee injury. As we get to the Rams at 13, Sadiq's interesting for me. Lemon's interesting for me. Freeling interesting for me. I'm gonna stick to what I've been doing, and I'm gonna give them Makai Lemon. I really think Lemon is a phenomenal pick. I think the Rams are gonna make whatever move could help them win now. I think Lemon's an instant impact starter. Nobody's talking about Puka Nacua, but that whole situation's been really weird. Hope he's okay, but God only knows how available he's going to be this year. God only knows how okay he is mentally and physically. And I think Lemon starts to plan a little bit, too, for life after Devontae Adams. And I think wide receiver could get very thin for them past their main two guys. And I think Lemon instantly slots in as another weapon for this dynamic offense. The defense made trades to hunker down all offseason long. They're probably going to draft more defenders all throughout this draft. I think you get Lemon here, and you're set, man. Those are my Super Bowl favorites, so I love that pick right there for them. We'll go to the Ravens at number 14. Ooh. Everyone's giving them Kenyon Sadiq. I'm like a backdoor Ravens fan sometimes, right? Because the Vikings are so god awful and always don't make the playoffs or lose in the worst fashion ever. So then I usually bandwagon the Ravens for the rest of the year. And like, why would you draft Sadiq when you have terrible trench needs on both sides of the ball? You need a receiver so bad, and like you have Mark Andrews, this Pro Bowl tight end, just like Isaiah Likely. Like, what is the point of having two fantastic tight ends? You didn't pay Isaiah Likely because you have all these other needs. Like, it's not as important as these other positional needs. I'm sorry, it's just not. And I won't buy into, yeah, let's have two great tight ends again, but they'll probably both drop the ball in huge moments, and we won't pay other positions that we need. So I'm not buying into the Sadiq stuff. I don't think Ioane should get much further past here, and I'm not going to have him going anywhere past here. I think he's the pick for the Ravens at 14. They need offensive line help so bad. Tackles are better than the interior, and Ioane will help to heal a lot of those interior problems, especially with Linderbaum leaving early in the offseason. So, Bucks are on the clock. Akeem Mesidor is another smoky pick, man. Like, it's been made so many times. I think I might have made it last time we did this, but it really is just a smoky pick. And I'm just going to stick with it. I really do think that he helps them so much now. I think the Bucks are in a position where they're trying to win now. I think they feel horrible about losing the division last year, and they probably should. And there's so many benefits to Mesidor. I saw somebody talking about this. It might have been Brett Coleman, where it's like, is there really that big of a deal to draft a 25-year-old pass rusher when you don't have to go through the pains of developing him into a playable starter, and you don't have to worry about handing him all of this money when he's like 26 years old? You get this guy when he's 25, he's ready to go now, and you don't got to pay him that much. And that kind of had a big impact on how I was viewing a lot of these picks with older guys and how it's trended that way. But yeah, nonetheless, Bucks need pass rush. They need a guy that could help them win now. I think Mesidor meets both of those needs very, very well. Jets are back on the clock. I think I did Ty Simpson here last time. Not as bullish on that anymore. Not as bullish on that anymore. Although I don't mind Ty. To me, this is going to be the best receiver available, and in my opinion, that's Omar Cooper. Omar Cooper is shooting up draft boards. He has been probably for like a month and a half now, 2 months, and I really do think he's dynamic with the ball in his hands. He's excellent at contested catches, despite not being the biggest guy in the world. He's got some pretty twitchy routes. I think he's going to struggle a little bit to get off man coverage at the start, given I don't think he's very deceptive at the breaks of his routes compared to some of the other guys in this class, but either way, I think his ability with the ball in his hands is dynamic, and I think he's going to go high in this draft regardless, just because of that trait that he has. And I think Cooper's a slam dunk pick for the Jets. As we get to the Lions at 17, hearing some weird stuff like this is going to be an alignment made. This is going to be a tackle, given that Ioane is gone. Blake Miller's just shooting up boards. Caden Proctor's just shooting up boards. Like, I genuinely have no idea how to rank this next group of linemen. Like, in my opinion, Freeling would be the most interesting on the board because I think he's so developmental. I think he's so developmentally sound. I think Lomu is my favorite tackle in this draft. Like, that's not Spencer Fano. Like, I love Caleb Lomu. I don't think he gets past someone that we'll talk about later because I'll probably have him going there unless I have him going before. Like, to me, I would trust Freeling, Miller. I would trust Lomu more. But, like, I feel like I should just buy into the hype, like this Caden Proctor stuff where the Browns and Lions are, like, in love with this dude. People are saying that he's not getting past the Lions. That's confusing to me, but I'll buy it. Like, I don't know how to read this situation at all. I think Proctor is so technically inept right now, not to sound mean, but I just think he's developmental, and he's got a long way to go, and I think he can be fantastic. He's a house of a human, and he's dropped a lot of weight, which is what I was looking for. At the combine, he was like 20 pounds lighter than what he was playing at, which I absolutely love. He's taking steps in the right direction, but I just think he's pretty far away from being a starter at this point in time. But I see why teams are developmentally intrigued by the prospect of Caden Proctor. I wouldn't take him that high, but I guess I'll buy what people are saying. I guess I'll buy what people are selling, and take him that high. For me, this pick at the Vikings, I don't know if I'm a Vikings fan, if you don't know, but if you do know, I haven't given it a ton of thought because, like, it just seems like Thieneman is destined. It seems like it's written in the stars, because everybody is just picking us to pick Thieneman, and like I'm cool with it. Like I think he's a phenomenal safety prospect. I think EMW McNeil Warren might be a little bit more intriguing for a Flores scheme, but look, I love all three of those top safeties in this draft. Just give me a good player and I'm happy. Even though I don't think tackle should be out of the question. They haven't extended Brian O'Neill yet. Sadiq's probably in play. I wouldn't be surprised if they took Sadiq. I don't really want Sadiq. Jermod McCoy was once in play for the Vikings. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. So I really do. I feel like this is going to be penciled in as Thieneman. I'm definitely buying all of that. As we get the Panthers at 19. And this is going to be another one for me that I'm not going to think about that much. Sadiq is going higher than this in a lot of drafts. I think this is probably his floor, just based off of everybody's opinion on him. He's super dynamic. He can stretch the field as a tight end. It's rare to come by. I'm not as huge on Sadiq as some other people, I would say, probably. But that being said, I do think he's a phenomenal tight end prospect. I think he is the best tight end in this year's draft by pretty good margin. And overall, I would be surprised to see him get past pick number 19 in general. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to be the Panthers, but I think he's going to go higher than that before he goes lower than that. So I'll take Sadiq at 19. I'll bite. As we get to the Cowboys at pick 20, a lot of people will tell you that this is going to be like C.J. Allen, a linebacker. I'm not bought in that he'll get taken that high. I'm truly just not. I don't love that pick. I think Allen's extremely cerebral player. I think he's athletic as well. But I think he has some limitations in terms of his frame. And I think he also has limitations that he showed just like being a very smart player, but not fully taking advantage of every opportunity that he might see. And I think his mind plays a little faster than his body sometimes, and I think that's going to hold him out. I think pick 20 is just a little too rich for a prospect that I think still has a little bit to learn. Although he has nothing to learn. Maybe just like some tackling technique or something. Like, he's a smart player, and I love that about C.J. Allen, but I don't think this is going to be him at pick 20. I don't like Keldrick Falk. I'll be the first one to tell you, but he's a Cowboys type of player. This is a common mock now, and he's just like, you never saw him in the first round like a couple weeks ago, and now it's just like, oh, if you don't have him going to the Cowboys or the Chargers or the Bears, you're probably an idiot. So once again, I'm just throwing stuff on the wall and seeing if it sticks. Like, this is the hardest draft I've ever had to predict. Keldrick Falk had a encouraging pass rush 2 years ago. Last year, he couldn't sniff the quarterback. I think he seriously needs some development in terms of being a pass rusher, but he sets a phenomenal edge as a run defender, and he is an extremely athletic player, and he's super, super, super strong. And I think all of those give you a floor. I think there's something developmental there, and I just think the Cowboys are probably in shop for an edge rusher because they could use one. They're in shop for a linebacker too, don't get me wrong, but I think Falk is a Cowboys type of pick, and I'll buy into what they're selling. As we get to the Steelers at 21, man, what a weird spot. Everything gets weird from here on out. I'll tell you that for free. Could this be Freeling? I know that you have Fatu and Broderick Jones, but how confident are you in Broderick Jones at this point? I just feel like they need to take an offensive lineman. How about we start there? And I don't think it's going to be a guard. I think they'd rather take a tackle. Um, because all these guys are movable, right? And yeah, dude, Monroe Freeling, come on down. We'll get him off the board. I feel like he should be off the board by now, just by what everybody's been saying. Um, so Monroe Freeling to the Steelers. I love Monroe Freeling. He's super light on his feet. One of the most athletic tackle prospects I think, honestly, we've ever seen. Just super fluid. Um, he lit up the combine. Like, I'm talking like true athlete, like not even play speed. Like, this guy is athletic as hell. And I think the Steelers could be in shop for a new tackle. I don't think Broderick Jones is earning his keep at this point. Um, although, Ty Simpson at 21, just saying. Denzel Boston as well. There's a couple of guys, but I feel like Freeling is too good to still be on the board, honestly, and I think the Steelers would be excited to be the person to make that change. As we get to the Chargers at pick 22, this one's hard, man. This one's really hard. Caleb Banks is another one. Really, really concerning foot problems, and it doesn't seem like he's going to go in the first round of this draft anymore, which is a shame. I love Christian Miller. We could do Christian Miller. Yeah, let's get weird. Let's go Christian Miller. Um, Miller's fantastic against the run. We'll go with back-to-back Bulldogs. Um, he's extremely athletic, as most of these Georgia guys are, and he could really plug up the middle. I think there's some pass rush stuff to be excited with him as well. Um, I went Peter Woods in this spot last time. Another guy, I don't think Peter Woods is going to go as high as I want him to, which is a shame. And I think Miller's a really good player. So I think Chargers fans should be excited about that one anyways. Miller's a guy that's coming on really late in this draft. Um, and yeah, I think that's very much within the realm of possibility. I don't feel great about any of these picks past like Thieneman. But that's just the nature of this draft, I feel like. I have no idea what's going to happen, to be brutally honest with you. Eagles are back on the clock. I think this is a tackle. Just given that none of the big four receivers are still on the board, it seems like they're going to lose A.J. Brown. They could use an edge rusher, but there's not one I think that they'd take in this spot. I think this is a tackle. I think it's one of Miller and Iheanacho. I like a lot. I think he fits their scheme. He's athletic. They're both super freak athletes. I think Miller's ceiling is higher. Um, I do. And I think he's also put production on tape. He's like a 4-year starter, and I don't think he's missed many games at all. So, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with Blake Miller here. That it's also another pick that's getting mocked a lot is Blake Miller to the Eagles. So I'll settle in on Blake Miller. Athletic freak, 4-year starter at Clemson, dominated for 4 years, extremely light on his feet. I think he's a lot like Brian O'Neill for my Minnesota Fighting Vikings. Super freak athlete, needs to fill out his frame for sure, needs to get stronger, but that's something they could teach in NFL weight rooms. I'm not worried about it. Browns are back on the clock at 24. We went Carnell Tate with them at 6, did we not? Yes, we did. So why not go with a tackle again? Tackles are the one thing that I feel like you could bank on more tackles going in the first round than you originally expect. It's like a lock. It happens every year. And there's always an early run on tackles. And for me, the Browns they need offensive line help. They lost all 5 of their starters. That is not an exaggeration. And for me, it's Lomu. And I was talking about Lomu earlier. He's not going to get past the Niners. It really seems like they love him. But I think more teams should love him. He's athletic. He dominated for 3 years. Like, he played left tackle on a line that included Spencer Fano. Spencer Fano was playing right tackle because Caleb Luma was so dominant at left tackle. They didn't feel the need to move him. He blew up the combine as well as any other tackle. Like, this guy's a freak athlete. I don't know. I had this same rant last time, but I don't know what people don't see in Caleb Lomu. Bears are on the clock at 25. A lot of people did Zion Young here, like, quite a bit. I did maybe TJ Parker last time. Maybe. I still like Zion Young there. I think that would be a good fit. Uh, Cassius Howell's another guy, man, that just feels like he's going to sneak into this first round. And damn it, I'll bite. Let's go Cassius Howell here. Um, Big frame, freak athlete. Doesn't play the run very well, but I think there's serious pass rush chops there. There's a lot. He flashed a lot in the pass rush game that I think there is to be excited about. Um, and at that point, I think this guy's worth taking a chance on. Right, this is a big dude that's strong and fast enough to play in the NFL. Um, and he's not fully developmental as a pass rusher. Like I think he already has some stuff ready to go, and I just think the ceiling's really high for him, and I think he is going to sneak in the first round based on reports and just based off, honestly, my analysis. Like, I like Cassius Howell as a player, so I might as well stand on it, right? Bills at 26. I mean, I think I went Jacob Rodriguez here last time, which I hope he goes round one, but I don't feel as good about that anymore either. Like, what a weird draft. Should I go EMW here? They could use safety help. Like, I feel like they would just rather take a receiver, though. Like, I had Concepcion go to the Niners last time, I think. Like, I think this is his range. He's talking crazy on social media. He thinks his range is, like, the best player in the draft, which I love. He should. Let's go Concepcion. And let's revamp that entire receiving room. Get Joshy some real weapons. Because, as we all know, it's never Josh Allen's fault. I don't like Concepcion as much as some other people. I think he's got serious drop problems. Like, not the type that you're just like, it'll be fine. Like, I think he catches the ball the wrong way fundamentally, which I don't like. But the speed is there, man. Like, he pops on tape. He plays bigger than his size, I think. And, yeah, he really just flies when he has the ball in his hands and when he's running deep routes. So I like Concepcion. Back-to-back A&M guys, huh? Had back-to-back Georgia guys earlier, too. Back-to-back Oregon. Hello. Look at this. Back-to-back Ohio States twice. Hell yeah, man. I love it. So, pick number 27. We have the Niners on the clock. I think they love Concepcion. I think they love Lomu. Sucks to suck, but you got God both ways there. I think I go back to the tackle realm here. And this is like Ian Achor's the last one that I could fit in this round, which is wrong. That sucks so bad because I think the Patriots and Seahawks are both tackle, or not Seahawks. I think the Patriots are a tackle team. I think the Chiefs are a sneaky tackle team. Texans are definitely a tackle team. But sucks to sucks. I like Ian Achor quite a bit. This guy's a freak athlete, extremely fluid. I feel like I say that about all these tackles, but it really is such a like high athleticism, like low technique and production type of class. But I think Ian Achor could be an extremely sound left tackle. He's going to be super light on his feet, super fluid. You got to get a Trent Williams replacement pretty soon, man. I don't know if Trent Williams re-signed, but last time I knew he didn't. And even if he did, you got to start thinking of life after Trent Williams. Anyways, and I think Ian Achor is scary to think about if he reaches his full potential in a Kyle Shanahan wide zone scheme. Like, that's just terrifying. So we'll get the Texans up on the clock, pick 28. They want an offensive lineman, I think, especially on the interior, but I'm not buying Pregnon this early. I mean, maybe I'm buying Besantis this early. Maybe. Traden Stukes is also getting some crazy steam. I think Besantis or Rutledge could really be real. Nah, I don't know. I think all those guys are second-round guys, true second-round guys. You know what? Let's just... You know when a team gets something that they shouldn't? Let's give them Caden McDonald. This Texans defense is phenomenal. The only way that you could beat them at points last year was in the run game. Let's draft the best run stuffer in the draft. Why not? Let's give them to the Texans. They have an elite pass rush. They have elite pass defense. Let's get a guy in there that's just going to plug up all the run plays. And he could be rotational. and give him an easy job. Like, the rich get richer on defense, right? Um, and I think that'd be super fun fit for the Texans. I love Cade McDonald. I want him to get in the first round here. And I feel pretty good about that. So last, we went with Tyson. Did we go Tyson for the Chiefs? Yeah, we went Jordan Tyson for the Chiefs. They're back up on the clock. I mean, you want to get him a corner or an edge rusher. Edge rusher's running pretty thin unless you like TJ Parker a whole lot. He's not my favorite player in the draft, but I do like him quite a bit. I like both these Clemson guys. I think you need a corner, and McCoy's interesting. Do I think he sneaks in the back end of the first round? I mean, second round fall for him would suck, man. It really would. Freak athlete, put some amazing tape out in 2024, but just really, really concerning injury issues that I'm not sure a team will be willing to wait on. Ugh. Now, we're going to go with Emmanuel McNeil-Warren to the Chiefs here. This is a guy that I think they could move around a lot. Spags likes to have versatile defenders that could play zone, rotate up deep, play a deep zone, and also DBs that could blitz. And I think McNeil-Warren is the perfect like Swiss Army knife. He's tall, he's lengthy, he's athletic. I think he's the perfect type of Swiss Army knife safety for that system. We saw what like guys like Honey Badger were able to do there, and I just think they could use some defensive juice. Anyways, he's probably my favorite defensive player on the field on the board right now. That's not named Jermod McCoy or Caleb Banks because both of them are hurt. And I think McNeil-Warren makes a lot of sense to Spagnuolo defense, so we'll rock with him there. As the Dolphins come up at pick 30. Last time we gave them Fano, huh? Yeah, we gave him Fano at pick 11. So at pick 30, I'm thinking receiver. I'm thinking corner. I like Terrell quite a bit. I could like drop McCoy here, but I'm gonna believe the reports. I don't know what to do. No one come for me and be like, "Oh, McCoy, like, oh, this guy's easily a first round." I know. I'm just trusting all that I can trust, which is the reports where like teams are unbelievably concerned that this guy hasn't played football in near and needs another year off because he's got to get a second surgery. God only knows what's true and what's not, but if that's true, I mean, I just don't think he's going to go in the first round, which is a shame because he's an unbelievably talented player. Pick number 30, I mean, I like Colton Hood and Terrell quite a bit. We took an O-lineman. We could use a receiver for sure. But I think that's it for the receivers in this draft, in this first round. I don't like Concepcion as much as I like Antonio Williams, though. I would be extremely surprised to see Antonio Williams go in the first round, but he is my fifth favorite receiver in the draft. I like him over any of these guys that are still on the board. Everybody else, besides the big three and Cooper, I like Antonio Williams as my fifth favorite receiver in the draft. But Denzel Boston probably sneaks in the first round somewhere. I don't know if I'm going to have a spot for him. I don't think the Dolphins value that type of big-bodied possession receiver. So I'm not going to buy into that. I will buy into... I'll buy into Colton Hood. I think this is a guy that's going to sneak into the first round. Overall, just a really solid player. Like, solid athlete, solid technique, able to play man and zone. Stepped up in an unbelievably huge way when McCoy wasn't able to play this year. And held his own against the best receiver talent that the nation had to offer in the SEC. I like Colton Hill quite a bit. There was a point in time where I thought he was going to be going around 18 to my Vikings, and I would have liked it. So I think that's a good pick for the Dolphins there at 30. Patriots at 31. For me, it's just been tackle over and over again, but I don't. Like, I think I ran tackle dry so early, which is real. Like, that really does happen in the NFL sometimes. So I don't think any of these guys get in. I think this could be one of the interior linemen, specifically Bisontis or Rutledge. But they could also just take like one of the better players on the board. Like, they could use Denzel Boston. It's just, is A.J. Brown coming? because then I don't really see the point. Uh, Damn, this is a hard pick. They have good DTs. I mean, they could use some edge rush. They could use some edge rush juice. I'll go. Man, I hate everything about this. I'll go TJ Parker here. Like, these are picks that I don't anticipate these teams using, but I'm not. Like, you can't predict trades. I'm not predicting trades. I'll go TJ Parker. I think he's my favorite edge rusher in this class. I think he's got a really strong stiff arm move when he's coming around the edge. I love that long arm move that he has. I think it's extremely powerful. I think it's extremely quick. And overall, he's a pretty good athlete. He's put pretty decent production out on tape. Not as well in his senior year, particularly, but his sophomore year tape is phenomenal. He's a good athlete. Like, I think TJ Parker has a lot of. He came from a big school. I think he has a lot of things that NFL GMs value in the first round. So I'm excited for TJ Parker, and I would like to see him go in the first round. I'd love to see his teammate Peter Woods go in the first round too, but doesn't feel like we're gonna get that, unfortunately. And last pick of the draft, Seahawks. This is another pick that I don't foresee them making. But if it is, I'll go Avion Terrell, another one of my guys. I think one of the best corners in the draft. Could play inside, could play outside. Absolute dog mentality. And I love what he would be able to do in that type of defense where they use guys like Nicky Manwari and Spoon, where they use these guys, move them all around, and have them play all these different positions. I think Avion Terrell would fit well in that mold. And yeah, I guess this is officially my final mock, guys. Don't feel great about it at all, but this is what we're cooking with. I hope, if you're watching, I hope you learned something. I hope you loved it. I also hope you hated it at points in time, because that's the beauty of the NFL draft. And I'm super excited for tomorrow night. It's on my birthday. What a great birthday present. Your boy's turned 23, LeBron year. But realistically, at this age, I'm just getting old, right? Nothing to celebrate here. So if you are still watching, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's been a blast putting this together. And since you're still here, I hope your favorite team gets a player that you want them to take tomorrow. Shout out to Garbage Time. Shout out to my boys Cade. Shout out to my boy Wells. And hopefully we can start getting some content rolling for you guys soon. If you're still listening, appreciate you. Shout out to you guys. And I'm out. Appreciate it.